Disaster kicks off with the captain's log announcing that for once there's no pressing threat to deal with and no cloud of space gas that needs looking at, so they're going to take a break, and nothing will definitely go wrong with that. No sir. The O'Briens are playfully arguing over what to name the child, leading to watch.
Right, he's just doing somersaults. Your feel.
That is the most sinister face I've seen on Star Trek. You'd think he was about to draw out her life essence to expand the power of his beard. In a cargo bay, Dr. Crusher is annoying Geordi because Wesley's gone off to the academy, so we're going to need a backup Crusher to annoy people. As understudy to being annoying, we naturally must go to Deanna Troi on the bridge. She's introducing the winners of the science fair to Picard, since as his therapist, she might be called upon to stop him from having a fit when surrounded by children. I mean, we don't want a repeat of last year's science fair when he shrieked and started squirting them with a spray bottle, telling them to get off the furniture. He tries to make small talk with him in the turbo lift, but handicapped by the fact that he doesn't know how to interact with tiny humans. I've switched lately from rice crackers to brown rice crackers because they have more fiber, obviously. And I can't decide whether to add flaxseed or flaxseed oil to my dishes. Do you have any suggestions on that? God, just strike me dead now. Yes, disaster does not refer to Picard having to spend the day with children. That's just a fun side effect. The whole ship gets its ass kicked. Luckily, Lieutenant Monroe has been left in command, and even though that was probably only because there was nothing expected to happen, and it was probably to let her log on some command time, you still have to be up to the challenge to do that job, and Monroe is. She quickly takes control of the situation, exuding confidence and providing reassurance to everyone on the bridge that everything is going to be all right simply by her calm yet serious response to the crisis. Everything will be okay.
All decks, brace for impact.
We're so fucked. After the second bash, that just leaves O'Brien, Troi, and Mendel on the bridge, and the comm system is down along with the computer, and the turbolifts are offline. Oh, that reminds me, how is Picard doing?
This is the captain. Does anyone read me?
Why don't they answer?
I don't know.
I'm going to be optimistic and assume that they've all gathered around Counselor Troi to make very clear to never let this happen to me again.
They're all dead.
They're not dead. Communication is down, that's all.
We're going to die too.
I should be so lucky.
I want you all to stop crying. Everything is going to be all right.
I was wrong. I did die in that crash, and this is hell. Having better luck with the turbolift is Ensign Rowe, who climbs up onto the bridge.
Well, don't count on leaving through there. An emergency bulkhead closed just beneath that lift.
Confinement mode.
Right, isolation protocol.
So, I'll just make us some sandwiches then. So the Chief, Rowe, and Mendel work on diagnosing the situation while Troi stands around doing nothing, which I have to commend her for, as any action would likely just get in the way. Remember that Troi is less than impressive as a counselor, and that's her area of expertise. So asking her to contribute anything to handle a ship-wide emergency is like asking a dog for its opinion on the Middle East peace process. The only thing she does contribute is the certainty that there are survivors because of her empathic abilities, but she can't be in any way specific about who it is or where they might be.
I believe Counselor Troi is the senior officer on the deck.
Counselor Troi?
She carries the rank of Lieutenant Commander.
You wouldn't know that because her rank pips fell into the open cleavage of her civilian clothes. No wonder the episode's called Disaster. Putting Troi in charge is as crazy as putting Troi in charge. There's just nothing that can compare to that level of crazy. She doesn't know anything about what to do in a crisis, and she doesn't exude any sense of authority whatsoever. Any hint that she's at least skilled in making a decision during a crisis based on suggestions provided by others. I would trust a high school volleyball coach to command before her. Things are a mess in 10 forward, but Riker, Data, and Worf are quickly assessing the situation and handling the crisis down there.
I think we should assume the worst, that everyone on the bridge is dead. There's no one in control of this ship.
I think assuming that no one up there is leading the way out of this crisis is a pretty safe bet. The wounded are being brought in here, so Worf is left to handle that while Riker and Data head off to try to reach engineering somehow, which should remind us of our chief engineer, who's been trapped with Dr. Crusher in that cargo bay.
Geordi?
Yeah.
This wall is hot.
Where?
If only you had a device on your face that could show you infrared rays, huh? There's soon an explosion that knocks him back, but somehow he's neither burned nor injured. Which is good because that looks like it calls for more of a tech solution than a hypospray. The fire is putting out radiation, which is bad news, and what's worse, the stuff in those containers tends to explode when exposed to radiation, so if this continues, it'll be a competition to see whether fire, radiation, or explosions kill them. I'd have to say it seems like they're in the most dire situation of all of them.
We're going to die.
Though Picard is definitely stiff competition. To cope, Picard decides to make them all officers, starting with Marissa. That seems to be the easiest way for him to deal with children. Draft them. Worked with Wesley, after all. Marissa will be his first officer, and from this, we get the most infamous series of fanfics that don't revolve around sex. You can go look them up if you want to. But for the moment, this seems to be helping calm everybody down.
Then I shall appoint you my executive officer in charge of radishes.
I won't let you down, sir. There's no way you can. On the bridge, the chief is trying to explain what happened to their leader. They were hit by a quantum filament. She struggles to show understanding by resorting to continuity. Last year, the Enterprise had a run-in with a cosmic string, but alas, that's nothing like this. Even continuity has forsaken her this episode. What's worse, when Rogue gets the engineering station working, it reveals that the quantum filament affected the warp core in a way that could kill them.
I'm reading a spike in the warp field array. It looks like a containment deviation.
Switch to primary bypass.
I know it seems like I'm just being mean to Troi, but the way she looks at them as they try to explain this, I mean, that just says it all. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
If it falls to 15%, the field will collapse. And we'll have a containment breach.
Which means?
Which means the ship will explode.
Okay, that's bad. I get that part. Riker and Data run into trouble, trapped between a leak on one side and an electrical arc on the other, and no way to turn either one of them off. Data says the only way to deal with the arc is to throw something non-conductive in the way, like himself. Riker's not exactly sold on this plan, but Data assures him that no matter what happens to his body, his head is self-contained and can be removed and brought with him to help in engineering if need be. And, of course, to scare the shit out of any people they might meet along the way, especially that Ensign Ichabod Crane. Meanwhile, Picard has Jay Gordon do some scouting around up top. It seems that the emergency brakes in the turbolift were strained. One's already broken. So this lift is in danger of plummeting to a gruesome end. If I just had a radish, I'd have us out of here like that. Picard tells them they have to go on without him. His ankle's broken.
If the captain stays here, we won't make it. We'll all die.
Oh, don't start that again. Down in the cargo bay, Geordi has figured out a way to save their lives. Open the door to the vacuum of space. It may sound like a terrible plan, but it will likely send all the explosive containers out the door, as well as extinguish the fire. All they have to do is not get blown out and repressurize the bay, and they'll be fine. That's a pretty scary plan, though, so it calls for a pregnant pause. And that pause has now gone into labor.
I'm going into labor.
You cannot. This is not a good time, Keiko.
I will need you to submit a Form 47B to request scheduling of your delivery. Meanwhile, the fate of the ship is being decided as O'Brien and Rowe give two different arguments to a person who has no idea what they're saying. So they quickly boil it down for her. Separate the saucer and leave the drive section to sort its own shit out, or stay and try to come up with a way to avert the disaster. Well, Troi is going to err on the side of helping, even though Rowe points out that they have no way of knowing that anyone down there is even alive. But as the chief points out, there's no reason to assume that they're dead either. Troi decides to try to divert power down to engineering in the hopes that this will allow them to see the problem on their own monitors and that they could fix the problem before they all blow up.
By not separating the ship now, you could be responsible for all our deaths.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that no one will live to complain and no one will ever know it's her fault. Win-win. Speaking of people completely out of their depth, Picard and his small collection of children. The kids mutinied against his plan. I'm afraid you'll just have to go on without me. Well, we would never leave you, Captain. Damn it, I've been faking a broken ankle for nothing. One thing this has taught me is that there is a serious lack of manual overrides on this ship. Almost nothing can be worked without rerouting power from such and so. And for people who put in secondary backups, you'd expect them to be a little better prepared for accidents. Anyway, they'll need to head on.
What we need is a climbing song. Marissa, is there a song that you sing at school?
The laughing Vulcan and his dog?
Ron Moore insists this was not a reference to Cybok and Chicken Skin from Star Trek V, but damn it does fit well. Picard picks Frere Jacques instead, and he provides some much-needed encouragement. Speaking of which...
Dilation has gone to 7 centimeters since the onset of labor.
I can't help but notice you've defied orders and insisted on going forward with this delivery.
Worf, has the baby turned?
Turned.
So the head is down.
I don't know. What do you expect me to do? Go in there and look? I'm betting Worf and Picard would both happily trade places with Geordi right now, who is about to be exposed to the vacuum of space. The plan is off to a good start. Everything gets sucked out there and the fire goes out. Now there's just the small matter of not dying. Unluckily, the open the door and turn off the force field button is located nowhere near the close the door and fill this room with air button, because why would it be? But Dr. Crusher manages to make it there in time to save the day, or at least their little corner of it. They're all going to be blown up anyway soon unless somebody sorts that reactor out. In fact, O'Brien's barely able to stop it from going critical due to a minor kerfuffle. If we wind up with a blooper, or God help us, a faux pas, the whole ship could go up. But Troi refuses while there is still probably time left. And lucky thing, too, because Riker reaches engineering... Oh! Severed head, take a Wait, sorry, I'm thinking of Game of Thrones. Data's head opens the door, allowing Riker to see the impending collapse, and the only way to stop it is to attach those controls to Data's head.
That is not the correct port, sir.
Damn it, I said we should just put a USB port on this head. Thanks to Riker, Data saves the day. Picard gets the kids safely out of the shaft. Ro apologizes for doubting Troi. Yes, sir, everything's wrapped up. Oh, yeah, right.
You may now give birth.
I've approved your application.
Did you feel an uncontrollable urge to push?
And an uncontrollable urge to punch Worf in the face? Fortunately, there's no complications, and Worf manages to slap the baby without knocking the kid's face off, so it seems that it's all worked out.
I will cut the umbilical cord.
Oops. Congratulations, it's a girl. Everything goes back to normal, of course. The kids give Picard a plaque, Troi gives Riker shit, and we're given a captain's log to let us know that it is all right. Post-episode follow-up. I'm awarding annoying character to Troi and Ro, as they seem to play catch with it throughout the episode. Ro for being overbearing, and Troi being like some goat that's been flicked between the eyes. Final score for Disaster is 5 out of 10. Although it's anything but typical, it's about an average episode. There's certainly some good lines in there, Worf in particular, and they managed to get kids that can handle their small parts. It's a fine little experiment, a reminder that being in space is dangerous, although it seems that the ship has a few design flaws, not to mention a few command flaws. Overall, it's an enjoyable episode, what you'd expect from TNG. All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
Computer simulation was not like this. That delivery was very orderly.